those of you that this is your first session, welcome, and I'm so glad to see you. We're going to spend about an hour working on some scales, working on scales and improv. And I assume that you're here because you want to learn more about that and actually just have fun. So there's a couple of things I want to just remind everybody. First of all, again, welcome. I hope you all have your instruments. If you don't have your instrument, please go get your instrument. This is a hands-on. We are gonna do lots of playing and lots of trying some new things. And the format is that you're all on mute, so nobody else can hear you. And so I want you to feel free in your space where you are to try some of the things that we're working on, okay? The other thing I want you to remember is that this is fun. This is super fun. This is like a little portion of summer camp. So we're going to do one little silly thing, and it's going to kind of happen throughout our time together. So the last little thing before we start is that we just want to be respectful of this time and space. Everybody else can see everybody else on the screen. You have the option of changing your view to speaker view or just whoever is speaking. So we just want to remember that we want to be respectful of our time and our space together. Those of you that were at the Boeing boot camp last week, that was super fun, and I'm looking forward to what we're going to share and learn today. So there's two parts to our session. The first part, and it's probably going to be the longer part, is the scales, okay? And then we're going to talk a little bit about improvisation, and we're going to try some. So Paul, if you could throw up the first question, I need everybody to answer this. The first thing I do every day is play scales on my instrument. True or false? The first thing you do every day. So everybody needs to put their little vote in there. I'm seeing quite a few trues. That is awesome. Okay, and some of you are siblings, so I think, Paul, we're probably as close to being done as we're going to be. Okay, wow. Super, super impressive. The first thing some of you, almost half of you, do every day is play scales on your instrument. Very impressive. All right. Well, who can tell everybody what a scale is? What is a scale? Any volunteers to share? Una, your hand was the first one to pop up. Can you unmute yourself there?
It's like playing a specific bit of notes.
Thank you.
Of notes in a specific order, starting and ending on the same note.
That is so perfect. Starting and ending on the same note and playing a specific set of notes. That is so perfect. Quinn, did you have your hand up as well?
It also could be like a certain note you start on and you go in a sequential order. So if you start on G, you go A, B, C, D, E, F, and back to G.
Excellent. A sequential or an alphabetical order. You guys know your scales. That is so great. Anybody else want to add to that? Okay, thank you. That is so great. A scale, just as Una and Quinn have said, it's a sequence of notes starting and ending on the same notes, ascending and descending. Paul, could we throw up that second poll? Scales are confusing. Nobody knows who's answering this. So we're just looking to gauge where we are with our scales today. So scales are confusing. Are scales ever confusing to anybody? Okay, I think, Paul, we have just about everybody. So there can be a little bit of confusion sometimes, and it looks like maybe we can answer some of those questions today. All right, and we have one last question before we actually start the playing portion. Paul, the third question. I think you're going to like this one. Scales are unnecessary. True or false? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of falses. Thank you. I think they're totally important and necessary. So those of you that answered false, I'd have to say I agree with you. They're super necessary to do, to learn really anything on your instrument. Okay, so scales are the building blocks. They're the steps, literally the steps for everything that you play. Raise your hand if you play classical music. Raise your hand if you play pop music, any kind of popular tunes. Raise your hand if you play fiddle music, Celtic or bluegrass. Raise your hand if you play improvisational or jazz or blues music. For any of those types of music, you need to know your scales. All of those different genres are built on different types of scales. So we're today going to talk about lots of different scales. We're going to talk about a major scale, minor scales, blues scales, chromatic scales, and even modal scales. And I have a feeling that there might be some new words. There might be some new vocabulary for many of you, which is really great. We're going to expand your, not only your scale repertoire, but your vocab, your music vocabulary. So because this is kind of like a mini camp session, when I say the word or the phrase, I guess it's actually a phrase, when I say scale check, we're going to check your scales, I want you to quick play your favorite scale. So let's just practice that. So I just mentioned that we need scales. Oh, scale check. Yeah, so I might throw that in. I'm probably going to throw it in there a dozen times. So be ready, okay? Now, the other thing, I do have pretty telescopic eyes, and I can see if you're holding your bows really good. I was kind of picky about that last week. I'm still picky about that today. Could everybody who's got a string instrument, show me your bow hold, please? I'm going to go to the second screen as well, because that makes a difference with your sound. And you might think, well, I'm just doing scales. Nope, scales, you should have the most beautiful sound in your scales as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Scale check. All right, let's begin our session, shall we? Anybody know what the tonic is in a scale? What is a tonic? Anybody ever heard that word in a musical setting? Eileen, what is the tonic?
It's like the first note of the scale.
Exactly, the tonic is the starting note of the scale. Paul, could you pull up that little sheet? Okay, as this little sheet says, it says the beginning and the ending note of a scale, or it's the key note of a scale. So if we're in the key of G, G major, what is the tonic? Can everybody mouth what the tonic is in G major? Go. Okay, if we're in the key of C, what's the tonic? Go. If we're in the key of C sharp, what's C? I've got to define that. C sharp major, so sorry. C sharp major, what's the tonic? C sharp. If we're in the key of B flat minor, what's the tonic? B flat. Exactly. Thank you. Excellent. So every note in a scale has a specific name, and we're going to focus on two of those today. Another word for the step of a scale or the note of a scale is the degree. So the first degree of the scale is the tonic, okay? Half steps and whole steps. Let's just review that. Oh, bow check. I mean scale check. I'm on the wrong week. Scale check. Thank you. Okay. In music, what's the difference between a half step and a whole step? Thaddeus, I saw your hand pop up first. Thaddeus, could you answer that, please?
A half step goes from like a C, like a C sharp, I would say, to like a C, and a whole step would go all the way up in terror, like from like C to D.
Exactly. A half step are notes that are next to each other. You can't put anything in between it. You can't put a single pitch in between it. But a whole step is two half steps. I want everybody on your instrument to play any half step. Any half step. Go. Play another one. In our string playing, it's going to be those fingers that you can't put any other pitch in between. Violin and viola, they're adjacent fingers. And we're going to make sure that we cannot put another finger in there. Whole steps, we can put a note in between. So would you please right now play a whole step? Play another whole step. Now play the three notes, the starting note, a half step, and another half step. Ready? Starting note, half step, go. All right. Scale check. Great, thank you. All right. Anybody know what a tetrachord is? What is a tetrachord? This might be a new term, but it's super important when we start our first scale. Tetrachord. Any hands going up? Am I missing anybody? All right, we're gonna start with Paul. Can you put that up on the screen? All right. In music, a tetrachord is a 4-note scale. This is going to come in super handy, especially when we build our major scales. So what I'd like us to do right now is on C to play a tetrachord. We're going to call it the tonic, okay? We're going to start on our tonic, and then we're going to play a whole step, and a half step. Ready? Starting on C. Go. Okay, if I were playing on the piano, would I be playing any black keys or would they be all white keys? Raise your hand if they're all white keys right now. What I just played or what you just played. Raise your hand if we had any black keys in there. They're all excellent. So the pitches we played were C, D, E, and F. Could we do a tetrachord again, please? Starting on C. Ready? Go. With a show of your fingers, can you tell me how many notes make up a tetrachord? 4. Excellent. Now, we're going to start a tetrachord on G. We're going to start on a G and we're going to play a whole step, half step. Starting on G. Ready? Go. Did we just play 4 notes? We did. What were the names of those pitches? Everybody just mouth them. The pitches were G, A, B, C. We started on G and we played a whole step, half step. Hey, should we put those together? Let's put them together, starting on C. Okay, we build a tetrachord starting on G and we continue up to our top C. Here we go. Let's do kind of slow half notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Just to save time so we can get through more scales, we'll just go up for now, and I'll specify if I want you to go down as well. Let's do a tetrachord starting on D. Starting on D, whole step, half step. Ready? Here we go. Just a tetrachord on D. Pick your octave, any octave. Ready? On D, go. Hey, let's build a tetrachord starting on A. Ready? On A, whole step, half step. Go. Hey, let's put those together. Is that a major scale? 2 tetrachords? Let's try it. Here we go. Starting on D. We'll go a little faster. Do, re, mi, go. Putting those 2 tetrachords together. Okay, there's a whole step in between. Let's learn a new vocabulary word. The starting note of the scale is a what? What is that called? Begins with a T and ends with onic. What is it? Tonic. Tonic. Say it 5 times. Go. Tonic, 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 tonic. Okay, that's the starting note of a scale. All right, Paul, could you put up the next sheet? Okay, the dominant, super important in building scales, because that was what we actually started our second tetrachord on. So if we're doing a D major scale, what note is the dominant? What's the 5th note in a D major scale? Everybody mouth it. D, count up from D. D. Ready? What is it? Ready? What's the dominant in a D major scale? It is a what? A. It is an A. Okay? Hey, question. One thing we're not going to be able to spend a lot of time on today because we're going to just be talking about half steps and whole steps, but key signatures. Any of you have flashcards that you practice your key signatures with so you know your sharps and flats for scales? Yeah, that's one thing we'll talk about at the very end. Today we're going to focus mostly on listening and how to build them with half steps and whole steps. But your key signatures are super important. Okay, so what is the 5th note of a scale called? It is called a dominant. Okay? The tonic, oh good. Put your instrument in a safe place. You're going to either give me a 1 or a 5. Ready? The tonic is what note of the scale? Good. Hands down. Behind your back. The tonic is what note of the scale? The dominant is what note of the scale? The tonic is... Ooh, let's throw this one out. We're going to get to this at the very end, but anybody know what the leading tone is of a major scale? Oh my gosh! Everybody do this. 7, go. Because it leads to the tonic. 7. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Time for a scale check. Good. Could I hear a tetrachord starting on your note? Whole step, half step. Could I hear a tetrachord? Ooh, this is going to be hard. Starting on an E flat. But remember, we start on our note and we play a whole step, half step. That's all I want you to do. Starting on an E flat, and you can build a scale. Whole step, half step, go. Hey, do a tetrachord starting on B flat. Whole step, half step, go. put that together. Here we go. Starting on E flat. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we built a scale. This might be a brand new scale for many of you. And it's awesome because you can put it together now. E flat, here we go. Good. All right, the fifth note of a scale is called the what? The fifth note of a scale is called the dominant. The first note of a scale is called the tonic. And the seventh note is called the leading tone. Absolutely. All right. Paul, can you put up the major scale sheet? Okay. So we've just done this. We're going to start on C, but maybe some of you, it helps to just see what we're doing with our patterns, okay? We have a tetrachord starting on C and then a tetrachord starting on G. Hey, let's pick a different octave. Pick a different octave than what you just played, okay? All right, just remember your whole step, half step, okay? You skip to another whole step and do the same pattern. Here we go, starting on C. And let's go both up and down so we can feel and hear that scale. Ready? Go. All right. Well, who knows what a mode is or what the definition of a mode is in music? It's a fancy word for, sometimes in music, we just use fancy words to describe things we already know. A mode basically means what type of a scale it is. And the two modes that I have a feeling everybody's familiar with are major and minor modes. Raise your hand if you've major and minor, okay? Raise your hand if major is the happier sounding of those modes. Major or minor, which one sounds happier? Does major sound happier? Raise your hand if major sounds happier. Yeah, all right, absolutely. So we are going to right now, Paul, could you put up the minor scale sheet? Oh my gosh, what is that? What TWH, what is that? Oh my goodness. That means we're going to start on our tonic. We play a whole step, a half step, a whole step, another whole step, half step, whole step, and tonic. Okay, in the key of, let's go to the key of A minor. The key of A minor, our tonic is A. So let's start on our tonic A. Everybody? Let's go to another whole step. Half step. Whole step. Another whole step. Half step. Whole step. Back to the tonic. Thank you. All right, Paul, you can take that sheet down. In the key of A minor, there are no sharps or flats. What's the trick for knowing what scales are related? How many of you have ever heard the phrase relative major and minor keys? Relative major and minor keys. Okay, there is a major key on every note. That means there are 12. Can you raise your hand if we can play a C major scale? Raise your hand if we could play an F major scale. Raise your hand if we could play a C sharp major scale. Absolutely. Raise your hand if we could play a J sharp scale. What? There's no such, I'm just seeing if you're paying attention. Okay, all right. The same goes true for minor. Raise your hand if we can play a B minor scale. Raise your hand if we can play a flat minor scale. Every note has, okay? All right. So every key shares a minor or a major key signature, no matter what key it is. So here's the trick for knowing how they're related. C major, how many sharps or flats are in the key of C major? Zip. Nada. Could you please play a C major scale right now? Ready? Let's do it kind of fast. Let's play each note twice. Go down. Great. C major has no sharps or flats. All we do is we go down 2 notes from that tonic. Again, show me with your finger what note or what degree of the scale is the tonic. 1, put your 1 up. We go down 2 notes. So what key shares the same as C major? Go down 2 notes from C, C, B, A. Here we go. Let's build an A minor scale. No sharps or flats, just plain notes. Here we go. Starting on A, and you'll hear the minor scale. Here we go. A minor. Ready, go. That sounds really plain, doesn't it? That sounds really plain. Paul, could you put up that next sheet, please? There's more than one type of a minor scale to play. Minors have all the fun. They have a natural minor, which means we don't change any notes. The harmonic minor changes 1 note, and the melodic minor changes 2 notes. So let's do something. Let's all go back to A minor, please. Could everybody please play just an A minor scale? There's no added sharps or flats. Here we go. A minor, you can choose your rhythm, you can choose your octave. A minor, ready, go. We're gonna make it a little spicy. Raise your hand if you love vanilla ice cream. Raise your hand if you love vanilla with sprinkles or something extra added on your vanilla ice cream. We're gonna add something a little extra on our scale, on our harmonic minor scale. On the 7th note, yep, the 7th note, we're gonna make that note sharp. Tell me if you hear it change. Do you hear that big gap in there? Here we go. A harmonic minor, big gap. Raise that 7th note. We just put some sprinkles in our ice cream. Ready, go. Good. Try it again. Try a different octave. Try a different rhythm pattern. String players, try pizzicato. Try all up bow. Try all down bow. We are doing the A harmonic minor scale. Ready, go. All right, let's go to G major for just a moment. G major shares what minor key signature? Remember the trick? Go down 2 notes. And what key shares? Quinn, what shares the same key signature as G major?
E.
E minor. Could everybody please?
ASL.
Thank you. Let's first of all do a G major scale. Hey, what's the tonic of a G major scale? G. What's the dominant of a G major scale? D. Here we go. G major scale. G. 1, 2. There's 1 sharp G major. 1, 2, G major. Go. Down. Now, play that same scale. Don't change any of those pitches, but our tonic now is going to be E. We're playing an E natural minor scale. Good. Hey, scale check. All right. You could can choose your modes for the scale check. They can be major, they can be minor. We're going to do a couple more in just a minute. All right. E, natural minor. Ready? E, F sharp, G, and all natural rest going up to E. Ready? E. Hey, let's make that 7th note sharp. Let's add some sprinkles. Ready? Here we go. That D is going to be, there's going to be a big gap. That 7th note, we're going to make it nice and high. We're going to play a D sharp. Ready? Go. You can always tell the harmonic minor scale because there's a big gap in there. Okay, well, it gets even fancier with the melodic minor. What degree, what step, what note in the harmonic minor scale did we change? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7? Yes, 7 is what we changed. We changed the 7. Uh-oh, it gets even more fancy. The melodic minor, we are going to change the 6th and the 7th note. On the way going up, yes. Here we go. Everybody go. 6, 7. Ready? Go. 6, 7 is melodic. Which one do we change on harmonic? Just the 7th. Which one do we change on melodic? 6, 7. Okay? But it's a natural coming down. This is where it gets a little confusing. All right, count your notes. We're playing an E melodic minor scale. We're going to raise the 6th and 7th notes and stop at the top. Stop when you get to the top. Here we go. E melodic minor scale. Ready? And here we go. The melodic minor changes back to the natural. It just couldn't make up its mind. Now play a natural minor going down. Ready? Go. If you hear a minor scale that changes, the answer is it's a melodic minor scale. Here we go. Let's do all 3 forms of the of the minor scale. What one is the plain? What's the word for the plain minor scale? Natural, harmonic, or melodic? What's the word for the plain scale? The one that doesn't change at all. I'm looking for somebody. Oh, let's see. Campbell, can you unmute yourself? Campbell, what's the name for the scale that doesn't change?
The natural.
Perfect. It's the natural minor. Here we go. E, natural minor. It's just natural. Nothing changes. E, natural minor. Ready? Go. All right. Harmonic minor. That one changes. Ray, show me with your hands. Which note do we change our notes? 6 and 7 or just 7? Here we go. E, harmonic minor. Change the 7th note both times. Ready, go. Melodic minor. Change the 6th and 7th. And let's be natural coming down. Here we go. Ready? And here we go. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play a scale, and you're going to tell me what kind of scale this is. Natural, harmonic, or melodic? Una, your hand popped up first.
Natural.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here's another one. Roman, did your hand pop up?
Yes. Wait, the options are melodic and natural, right?
Melodic or harmonic?
Okay. It's harmonic.
You got it. I changed one. And remember, the harmonic has the big gap in it. All right, I'm going to do one more. Listen really carefully. Wait a minute. What did you just do? What scale was that? Did that sound like a minor scale or something else? Huh. Who would like to take Audrey? What scale was that? Could you unmute yourself, please?
Wasn't it a major scale?
It was a major scale. It shared the same key signature. Okay, enough of those scales. Let us talk about a blues scale. Super fun. Anybody play jazz, blues? Raise your hand. Some of you raised your hand at the beginning. Okay, I want everybody to play these three notes. D, F, G. Go. I want you to go up and come down. D, F, G, go. Do it again. Ready, go. Hey, let's do the same thing starting on A. A, C, D, D, C, A, go. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put those together. We're gonna play three notes. D, F, G, A, C, D. Ready? I apologize for that singing. Here we go. Ready, go. Again. Here's where we're gonna have to know what our half steps are. Let's put a half step in the middle of that. Here we go. Listen once. I'm gonna put a half step in here. Wow. D, F, G, A flat, A, C, D, go. Again. Good. We have two parts. It's kind of like the major scale. We had two tetrachords that we put together. This one is two three-note sequences, okay? So, Paul, could you put up just the definition of the blues scale there? All right. As it says there, it's a six-note scale that is commonly used in the blues. All right. Here's what I want everybody to try right now, starting on the D. I want everybody to try something only with the four notes on the D. D, F, G, A flat, G, F, D. Make something up with those four notes of our blues scale. This is kind of our introduction, our segue into improv. Ready, go. All right, try it starting on A. A, C, D. Just do something with those last three notes of our scale. Ready, go. All right, here's what I want us to do. Try with that scale. Actually, let's do the whole scale one more time. Remember, try that whole scale. You can look at those pitches right there on the screen if you want to. Here we go. Ready, and blues scale. Go down. All right, here's what I want you to do. You're going to make up something. You're going to make up anything with those pitches in the scale, and there's one rule. You just have to start and end on that note. Ready? Here we go. Blues, 2, ready, go. Yeah, excellent. Okay, Paul, could you put up the next one? We're going to get to our improv section in just a minute. Chromatic scale. Oh my gosh, there's another scale, which means we play just half notes. Let's try it. Here we go. I want you to start on a C. And I want you to play all the notes that are from C to C that are a half step. We're going to kind of inch our way up from C to C. So C, everything by half step. Ready, go. There we go. All right. And Paul, let's quick throw up that next sheet. We have so far today talked about major and minor scales. We've talked about the blues scale, the chromatic scales. There's even more scales. They have maybe a little bit of a different twist to them. This is actually a scale sound. Sounds like I'm playing a wrong note in there, doesn't it? Here's another scale. It's an actual scale. So there's lots of different types. Remember, a mode is a type of a scale. All right, Paul, let's go up to our, let's go to the fourth poll if we could, please. I need everybody to answer this question. Again, we don't know who's responding to these questions. There's no way for us to track your answers. I love to make up things on my instrument. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of you loving to make the, oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. If you remember one thing from our session today, it is that I do not want any one of you to be afraid of to try new things on your instrument. Improvisation is basically, okay, there's other types of fancy definitions, but it really means to just make things up on your instrument, okay? It's just improvisation. That is fancy way of calling it. Let's do this with a D major scale. Do you know what? Variations are one form of improvisation. Raise your hand if improv is pretty new to you and your instrument. Raise your hand. It's great. This is the place to try it. Absolutely. Good. I'm seeing lots of hands there. Okay. So if this is new, let's start with a D major scale. Okay. We're going to try some different scales. Let's try a D major scale, and I want you to come up with a rhythm variation. This is the beginning start of improvisation. Here we go. D major scale, come up with a rhythm pattern. Do another one, ready, and another variation, go. All right. So let's see what we remember, starting with our tetrachords. We're going to start on a tetrachord on D, and here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play a little phrase. Our D tetrachord is D, E, F sharp, G, okay? And you're going to answer back. I might play, and you're going to answer back on your instrument. You're going to answer back something that you think might sound like you're answering my question. Think of me as asking you something and you're responding to my call to you, okay? Your only rule is that you need to end on a D. Here we go, get your instruments up, okay? I'm going to play, here's my question, and answer back. We're just starting with our D tetrachord. Ready? Here I go. Answer back. Hey, let's do the tetrachord starting on A. Here's my call. Get ready. Here's my call. Good. And you know what? I'm seeing many of, oh my gosh, you're all ending kind of at the same time. That's fantastic. Okay, I am going to I'm going to play something with all the notes of a D major scale. Here I go, and you're going to respond. And the only rule is that you have to end on the tonic. What note of the scale is the tonic? 1. So it is a D. Here we go. Here's my question, here's my call, and you're going to respond. Excellent. Improv is what? Is it playing something from music or is it making it up? Making it up. Hey, scale check. All right, let's go back to our D. Ooh, let's do D minor, shall we? D minor has one flat in it in the key signature. So if you want to add a raised, if you want to add the harmonic or melodic minor variations, you can. I'm going to call to you in a D minor and you are going to respond. Uh-oh, what note do you have to end on? If we're in D minor, what note do you have to? D, you have to end on D. Here we go, get ready, get your instruments up. All right, hey, let's try something in our blues scale. Okay, let's do the same blues scale. Paul, maybe you could put the blues scale sheet back up so if they want to see what those pitches were again. Okay, remember we had our 3 notes. Okay, you're going to answer back, but you have to end on D. That is the only stipulation here. You have to end on D. Here's my question to you. I'm going to keep going. Whoops. All right. Just to keep in mind, in a blues scale, you can play other notes within the scale, but the foundation is really that. All right, let's try improvisation with a chromatic twist to it. See how many half steps you can add to my question, okay? I'm gonna try to add, at least 3 sets of half steps. Get ready. And our tonic will be G, so you have to end on a G. All right, here we go. All right, let's switch gears. Let's go back to D major. All right. See this time if you can answer using some of the rhythms that I'm using. Again, improv is making it up. See if you can catch some of the rhythm patterns that I'm doing. You can use any of the notes in the D major scale. You have to end on the tonic. I'm ending on the dominant. You're ending on the tonic because my question isn't, I need an answer, okay? So see if you can catch my rhythms and it might be a little bit longer. D major. Good. All right, let's do another one. Another pattern. All right. You guys we haven't really talked anything about rhythm or meter in our improv, but we're kind of doing 2-measure patterns. And I'm seeing pretty much everybody ending in 2-measure patterns as well, which is fantastic. All right, let's go to D minor. Catch my rhythms. And then I'm going to ask if we've got any volunteers that would like to share. Here we go. D minor, I'm going to do a 2-measure pattern. You're going to answer back. You can choose your mode. Here we go. You can choose your type of the minor scale. D minor, our tonic is D. All right. Raise your hand if major scales are easier for you than minor scales. Yes, yes, I see a lot of hands going up. Absolutely. I would encourage you to really spend double time on your minor scales, okay? Pick another form of the minor scale. Let's go to A minor right now. We'll do a couple rounds of this and we'll see if we have any volunteers. A minor, here I go. Here's my 2-measure question for you. All right, and I ended on the dominant. You need to end on the tonic, which is A. All right, we'll do one more and then we'll see if we have any volunteers. Here's A minor, catch my rhythm. Any volunteers that would like to answer back my call? You know what? You're all going to answer back at the same time. It's perfect. It's perfect, okay? All right, pick the third form of the minor scale. We've done 2. Let's do one more, A minor. Here we go. Catch my rhythm. Yeah. Okay, why is it so important to know your scales for improvisation specifically? Why do you need to know your scales for improvisation? You know what? The shorter answer is, if you don't know your scales, you won't know the notes that are necessary. Okay? All right, you gotta know. Yeah, I see a lot of heads nodding. You won't know. If somebody says, hey, let's do that in the key of D major, and you decide to do this, they're gonna go, that's not a D major scale. That's not a whole step, half step, adding another whole step, half step. So that's why you have to know that, absolutely. All right, let's do 2 more rounds of call and response, and then we've got a couple of final polls. Here we go. Let's take a informal vote here. Hands up if you want it. Your choices are major or blues scale. Raise your hand if you'd like to do a major call and response. Raise your hand if you want to do a blues call and response. I think the blues have it. Here we go. We'll do the same pitches. I know it's kind of addicting once you start these minor, the blues scales. It's super fun. Thank you, Paul. Here we go. D blues scale. You have to end on the tonic. Here we go. Scale check, any scale. Good, all right, let's do 2 more rounds of this. Here we go, call and response, the blues scale. Okay, 1 more round because it's so much fun. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to challenge every one of you, every single one of you, to this week spend 5 minutes. I think you can all find 5 minutes where you can try something new on your instrument. I encourage that from all my students. Just try new things. I have 2 questions. We have 2 final polls for you. True, false? Could you answer both of these, please? Do you remember what the tonic and the dominant are? Hey, we're doing great. Excellent. The tonic is the starting note. The tonic is the starting note. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Raise your hand if you have learned a new type of a scale today. Raise your hand if you're going to keep your instrument out and play those scales for a few more minutes, even though our session is done. I want to see all your hands go up. All right. Play your favorite scale right now with your best posture and form and position. Your favorite scale starting on any pitch. Ready? Your favorite scale. Excellent. All right. Hey guys, our time is already, oh, scale check. Go, scale check. Fast, super fast, super fast. But it's gotta be beautiful. All right. Thank you. Our time is already done for today. Oh my goodness. If you have any questions, you can certainly email me at mary@gitsys.org. We have more of these sessions covering a whole range of topics. We've got some music history, we've got some music theory, we've got technique, we've got all sorts of things lined up for the next few weeks, and it's super fun seeing everybody. So I hope you sign up and join us for any more of these. Are there any questions about anything, the scales that we talked about today or the improvisation? Maybe you could put those in the chat if you wanted to, and maybe I could answer those that way. I want to thank you for being such a great class of students today. Oh my gosh. So keep your instruments out, keep them out, try some new scales, try some variations, try some improv, and have fun.